Hello and welcome to episode 8 of the Sunderland Mind No Filters podcast. Today is International Women's Day, and to celebrate we're talking to Grace, Roisin and Lottie, the hosts of the show GRL on Spark Radio. The girls are going to chat us through how their show came to be, what sort of topics they chat about and why they think it's important to have this space on the air. We talk about favourite female radio hosts and role models, as well as what International Women's Day means to them. Keep listening to find out more.
So my name's Grace. I am an MA Radio, Audio and Podcasting student at the University of Sunderland, and I also co-present the show GRL that we do on Spark.
My name's Roisin and I'm also I'm
MA.
a student, and I'm an MA student at the University of Sunderland, and I'm also part of the GRL show which features on a Friday on Spark.
And I'm Lottie, and I'm also an MA student with Grace and Roisin, and I'm also the L of GRL.
And I'm the R.
Oh, that's just clicked.
Everyone says that as well.
Oh, I never
Literally
realised that.
everyone at Spark was like, when we sort of said, they just thought we were trying to just be kind of like cool and young,
Yeah.
like GRL and not include the I. And then, when we said, no, it's our initials, literally everyone had that same reaction.
I've never put that together until right now. So do you just want to tell us a little bit about your show, like how it's structured, what topics do you cover, what's featured, all that kind of good stuff?
So GRL came to be we went to London in November, and we all shared a room, and we only met in the September. So we'd only known each other like a month, and so we sort of got to know each other quite quickly, and we were just chatting about loads of different stuff, weren't we? And then we just thought, oh, this needs to be a radio show. Like, girls don't kind of often talk this openly about things.
And there was a gap on the Spark schedule as well, I think. Definitely for that.
Yeah, definitely. Spark was kind of missing just like a female focused show. They used to have one called In Her Shoes, which was done by like previous MA students, and then when they left, the kind of show left with them. So there was like a bit of a gap. We kind of took over. Well, took over, because it's a different show.
It's it is different. It's a bit. I think we kind of wanted to make it a bit more lighthearted, but still touch on those like subjects that women and girls face in like everyday lives.
Kind of like a conversation rather than us telling you information and you just have to you don't have to, but like you soak it up. Like, because we've got like there's an age gap between us all. It's quite nice because it's quite varied, so our opinions are always different no matter what the subject is. We can relate in different ways, but our thoughts and stuff are always different.
I feel like our opinions would probably be a bit different as well, just because we've all had different experiences. Some of the topics that we've done so far, we started off doing like a body image episode where we all just sort of spoke about our experiences with that over the years, and we did our second episode was during Sexual Violence and Abuse Awareness Week. So we covered that, which kind of touches upon what Lottie said before about we want the show generally to be lighthearted, but we don't want to sort of shy away from those things that need to be spoken about either.
Yeah. And with those kind of topics as well, we kind of, if we don't know enough information on it, then we'll usually get somebody in to interview so that they can give us like more sound information. So that we're not saying anything wrong or like discussing it how it shouldn't be spoken about.
Or just talking about something that we just don't know about or don't have
enough.
experience know enough about. And then we did a dating special.
That was really good.
That was good fun.
If I recommend you listen to any of our shows, it's the dating one.
Because it was Valentine's Day week, wasn't it? So we spoke to a dating expert called Hayley Quinn, and she was full of tips and tricks, wasn't she? And
she's done like collabs with TGI Fridays and everything. She's got like TED Talks.
She did a TED Talk,
Wow.
That was a fun episode.
Yeah.
And then last week we spoke about International Women's Day and an event that's coming up at Potbrex on Saturday.
Saturday, yes.
The 5th. So,
Yeah, and then in the show as well, we also have the little segments where we go, we do girl versus, so that's usually something that maybe we'd be too scared to do. Not too scared, but it's something that we just wouldn't usually do, maybe push us out of our comfort zone a bit.
Or maybe something that we just wouldn't have got round to doing.
To crush the stigma of, like, when you go to university and you're a student that you have to go out and drink to make friends. Like, we had, one of our tasks was to go to a pottery class. We're still yet to go and actually make some pottery. We need to collect them, but we did like a pottery painting class, which is not something you hear a lot of.
No.
And we did like a mindfulness challenge, and just kind of like, we're going to look into cooking classes as well, because quite often when people move to university, they don't know how to cook.
Yeah.
So just like little things like that, and martial arts, which we all think will be good fun.
Definitely. We've got a free cooking thing here on a Wednesday, if you wanted to come along.
Definitely. Wednesday? We've just missed it.
So you've just missed one, but they're like, I think there's one every month, so I'll send you the details.
Next month.
Because you can. So yesterday they made afternoon tea, so they all made like little sandwiches and little scones. They made scones from scratch. So we just do it in here. So if you wanted to come and do that, that would be, they would definitely probably...
Yeah, definitely, because you do like crafts and things here as well, don't you? So I wouldn't mind, doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, I think we maybe wanted the challenges as well, like Lottie said, to be stuff that we maybe would have been a bit apprehensive to do. So I don't know if you've ever listened to it, but the podcast The Guilty Feminist, they started off, I don't think they do it anymore, but when it started, they would do kind of like, they'd set themselves a little challenge each week, and it could be something as simple as like if you're in a coffee shop, going up and ordering yourself a piece of cake and not justifying ordering it, sort of being like, oh, I'm supposed to be being good, but I'm gonna get that cake, or I'm being naughty and getting that. So kind of just little things like that just sort of going up and ordering it.
Definitely.
Or like, I don't know, I think one of them was they went to the cinema on their own, which they'd never done, or we kind of just wanted to we sort of nicked it a little bit off that, I guess, but we wanted to do our own sort of challenges and take on it.
And it is kind of like advertising the stuff that you can do around Sunderland as well. Like
definitely. That's what we wanted to do with this podcast as well. We wanted to highlight what's in Sunderland, like what services are around, like not even just services, just things. I've just interviewed Stephen, who's from United Minds. They're doing like a charity football match next week to raise money for us, but they came about because he had his own mental health struggles, and they've got a team. So if anybody listening wanted to join like that team, it's obviously football, but it incorporates the mental health, and like I would never have known about that before, and we just want to like be able to obviously reach more people and spread these things far and wide. I know that it stands for your initials. One of my questions was going to be, did you want to focus it around like being a woman, being a girl, female empowerment type of thing, or is that just come as a result of what you naturally talk about?
I think we kind of just fitted into the category type thing with the way we were discussing how we wanted the show to sound.
Yeah. And I think, like we said before, there was definitely like a gap in Spark's schedule for it. And then when we were in London and we were chatting about these things, and then it kind of just dawned on us like, our initials are GRL, like girl.
I remember when we said it, like we were literally getting ready to go out, and she was like, guys. And I was like, what?
We have to do this.
Yeah. Like, and we were like, yeah.
It's funny because like as well, when we first spoke about it, I was like really up for it, and then when I thought about it, I was like, I don't know if it's very me, like I don't know if the feministy led thing, I'm not sure if I'm going to want to talk about relationships on the air. And then we've got into it now, and it's actually so good, and like we're learning stuff all the time as well. Like when we're speaking to these interviewees, and all like doing interviews is so fun because you just get to talk to people about loads of stuff.
Definitely.
Really
we loved when we were on talking about the girls club. Like it's just a different way as well to get it out there, especially for us. Like we want to be able to have young girls come in, and we've obviously got the women's group as well, but especially for the young girls to hear people talk about stuff like that, and obviously on your show, and then if they were to come to the girls club, we talk about all that stuff here. So we talk about body image, like toxic relationships, even daft things like what they're watching on Netflix and all that stuff. So Tuesday just gone, we did like pancake day, but we're also talking about like food and like good versus bad food, like you said, like ordering a piece of cake or having a pancake. It doesn't mean there's no like morality, it's not good or bad, and those types of things. Why do you think it's important to have like this space on the radio, like on the air?
Because I was a student last year, and I didn't feel like there was anything, like, obviously they had that in our shoes thing, but I was never drawn to it. And like, as I've gotten older, I listened to this podcast called The Girls' Bathroom, and I like it because it sounds like I'm in the conversation but not having to have the conversation. And it's kind of like what I wanted to bring to GRL, and I kind of felt like that's kind of like what we were trying to bring to Spark type of thing, and kind of just comfort, because I feel like after the pandemic and the world's opening up again, it's quite scary. Like, not only are you having to deal with other issues, like just going out and speaking to people and doing these things.
Especially the dating one, she was saying that her research found that people were scared because it's been like 3 years since people have gone on first dates.
Yeah.
But I think that's just like stems from like the olden days where like women don't really talk about stuff openly. So I think it is important. Then there's some stuff we're going to do stuff on like women's health. So about cervical screening and stuff, which is so important, but it's just not really a conversation that people have every day.
I learned something new, that like I spoke to the lady and I was like, I've not heard anything about people from my age. I'm 20, and like she was like, yeah, but you don't need one yet, like it's over 25. And I never even knew that. Like we could do a lot more to kind of bring these subjects out there.
Definitely.
I think I really thought it was important as well, because I realised sort of as I got into my early 20s that I had just wasted so much time kind of being insecure or focusing I suppose on stuff I didn't like about myself, or and then I just sort of, I think I said it in the body image episode, like I just got bored of like disliking myself, and I just thought it was just important that there's a space where girls and young women just sort of realise that there is so much more to sort of life than we're maybe taught or whatever, and we're capable of so much more than just I don't know, focusing on what we look like or whatever. And also I think it's important as well, because I don't know about you guys, but I remember at primary school sort of having like the period chat, and like the boys were told to go out the room, and so I think from an early age we're kind of taught that, you know, those things need to be a secret,
That's like a female issue.
And
they don't need to know.
And I think it's important that boys do know this stuff. And having worked in offices and stuff, like I've gone to the toilet far too often, like with a tampon up my sleeve and stuff like that, rather than just being able to just walk to the toilet confidently holding a holding a tampon. Like, we're sort of, I don't know, taught that there's maybe shame around that, or I'm not sure. So I just thought it was really important that there's a space where, you know, students can hear girls their age just talking about this kind of stuff really openly. And we said from the beginning, didn't we, we wanted it to feel like a bit of a safe space that people can just sort of be themselves and not be shy to have these conversations. And now I feel like, because we do a show like this, if we're ever a bit like, oh God, I'm having a bad day, I'm on my period, blah, 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 it's just very on brand, and people kind of
brownies. We were meant to make the brownies, and I was on my periods, and like I was like, girls, I'm not leaving the house. I'm just not. Alright, you can come to me and make the brownies, but I'm not leaving the house. And they like completely got it.
I think that's fab. And going back to what you were saying about like the cervical screening and stuff, on Tuesday during the women's group we had cancer research come in, like one of the nurses from cancer research, and I felt the same. Like we were talking about cervical screening and things like that, and I was saying, oh, in like 2 years time I'm going to have to go for my first one and everything like that. And we're talking about how that's like quite an old, to me I think that's quite old to like going for your first ever check.
Too.
Because I'm 22 and I think, God, like what if in 3 years time it's already developed or anything like that? There's no awareness around it. And even when we're chatting about like checking for like lumps like in your breasts and stuff like that, and a couple of the women were saying, and I was like, so what age do you do that? And they're like, 50. And I was like, 50?
What?
50. You get like a, I don't know if it's called,
oh, is it a
like
mammogram?
A mammogram. I was like, 50. And we were chatting about like check-in and everything like that. And I was like, but how can I check? And then I know but I have to wait till I'm 50 to get a mammogram. Just all these things, I just think that there's no real... We're not taught, like, in the period chat, like, how to check for these things, or...
Well, I suggested when I was speaking to the lady about the cervical screening, like, maybe putting stuff up on bathroom doors, because that only makes it, like, it makes it private as well.
Yeah.
Like, no one will know if you've taken a picture or taken note of that number because you're in the cubicle. And, like, even just having information, like, checking your breasts and, like,
I was going to say,
going
it's probably
for this
worth
and, like, just
having...
gearing you up for it. Like, you don't just instantly wake up one day and go to the dentist when you're over a certain age limit. It's something that your parents take you to when you're younger, even though you don't need to go, to get you into the habit. These things are just as important. That's what the lady taught us.
I don't get why I don't get as well why we don't have, like, physical sort of MOTs.
We said those exact words.
Exactly like what Roisin said. Like, we go and have checkups at the dentist. I might not have a toothache, but I'd go and get my teeth checked. But we only ever go to the doctors. I mean, I totally know the NHS is stretched and everything, but you know, we only go to the doctors when we've got a symptom, and that could be, you know, maybe a bit too late. Or so I think we need to go for sort of regular sort of physical MOTs, but then that's why, like you said, having the things on the back of the doors, or even like a guide to how to properly check
your boobs. That's maybe something you should get taught in school, because
definitely.
Because I didn't actually know how to properly check for lumps until I felt something a bit funny, and I went to see the doctor and got it checked, and everything was absolutely fine. But I realised then that I hadn't been checking properly because the doctor did it differently to how I had been checking. But something that's really worth signing up for actually is the charity Copperfield. I think you can sign up online and they send you a free text once a month, and they remind you to check.
That's really
your boobs.
I didn't know that was really a thing. I've never been told, okay, so from this age you have to check, and this is what you're looking for, and this is how you do it, or anything like that. And like, it just dawned on us on Tuesday when we were talking, and I just thought, I've never checked. I've never known that was a thing that I had to do. My mum's a nurse, do you know what I mean? So like, that's probably bad on our part, but I just think there's just lack of awareness, and it's like, oh, boobs, like, it's a female issue, like, and it's not like spoken about, but some, like, you would hate to think that something would come up when it was too late, and you've not checked. With International Women's Day coming up, I wanted to ask you if you've had any favourite female radio hosts, DJs, role models, anybody.
I definitely think Annie Mac's always been one for me. Not that I DJ like music or anything, but she has just growing up and stuff as well, and I always loved the music that she played. And then she did a lot of stuff for like women in DJing and women on radio and stuff, and I think she just like done really well for herself, like, because when she started it was probably still in the days when there weren't that many female DJs.
I think she was like 2004 that she started on Radio 1,
so I definitely think she's one of mine.
Without sounding too cringy, I've got two. I'll do like one that's really cringy, and then I'll do like a sensible one. So obviously the first one's going to be my mum. Like, there we go. That's the response I wanted. Mother's Day's coming up. I'll forward her this. I'm joking. No, generally my mum. She's like taught me how to be the person I am today, and I think I know how to respect people and treat people with respect, and I think that's like so important in today's day and age, because quite a lack of people, like, not very many people have that much respect. And then this is my sensible one. Well, it's not even that sensible actually, but it's these two YouTubers that I used to watch when I was younger. They're called Sophia and Cynthia, the girls that do the girls' bathroom. I kind of treat them as my big sister. So like, I'll watch their videos, and like, they'll talk about these subjects that we talk about casually whilst they're getting ready to go out, having food, going to do stuff, walking the dogs. And like, that's what's kind of normalised the whole topic in GRL for me, because I can relate to them. They're doing it, so why can't I?
I think for me, radio wise, I always listened to, I grew up like listening to Fern Cotton, and I think similar Annie Mac. I think, we can't mention like female radio legends without mentioning Annie Nightingale. She was like the first female DJ at Radio 1.
I missed the question. Was it a radio person that we're meant to mention? You can mention your mum. Media.
You can mention your mum. And I think Fern Cotton, always loved listening to her, and now like still love listening to her podcast, and I think with who's on Radio 1 now as well, like Clara Amfo, I love her. I think we're really lucky that we have grown up in a time where we do have like female DJs on the radio that we can.
Another person I find comforting when I see like on the media, like on the telly and stuff, is Coleman. Is Olivia Coleman?
Oh, Olivia Coleman.
I feel so safe when I see her on telly for some reason. Like, she's just a safe person to me. That's done quite well.
Oh, I love that.
For International Women's Day, we're all kind of recording just little like short snippets of what International Women's Day means to us, and stuff like that, and why it's important. And I said that I think that there is a bit of a misconception of like female relationships, and that they're maybe not very supportive, and luckily I've always found the opposite. Like obviously that, you know, can exist, but I've always found the opposite, and that like a supportive group of females around you, like you said, you kind of feel like you can take on the world.
So what does International Women's Day mean to you guys? It's a bit broad question.
We've got our question turned back on us.
We've been going around asking people this, and they'd be like, no, I don't know.
I think for me, I think it's really important to have a day that celebrates like women's achievements, but I think it's also important that we've got a day that highlights bias that does still unfortunately exist. And I think it's a day just to highlight the inequalities that still exist, like, you know, not just here but all over the world. There's still such inequality for women all over the world. Like we were talking yesterday, that there are still parts of the world where there's still some countries where women can't vote, or women can't open up their own bank account, or they can't drive, or so yeah, I think International Women's Day, I think emphasis needs to be sort of put on the international, that there's so much inequality for women all over the world, and so I think it's important to highlight that, but yeah, it's also important to celebrate women's achievements and how far we've come. And for me, I think similar to you mentioning your mum before, Roisin, that it always makes me take a step back and really just kind of look around me and appreciate the women that I have in my life, because my mum's been such like a strong role model for me throughout my life, and like I'm so close with my aunties, and I've just got real sort of strong female influences in my life, and I've always been really lucky having a good group of friends, and I think especially I've got 2 young nieces as well, and I want to teach them that they are just capable of doing anything. And for sort of the things that we were talking about before, like the insecurities that maybe we had as kids, or the things that maybe we felt were holding us back when we were younger, I want them to know that the same things don't have to be in their way, and that they're capable of doing anything they put their mind to. And so I think that's what International Women's Day means to me.
Yeah, I think International Women's Day means to me everything that Grace says, but also like I'm kind of sad that when I was a kid, this wasn't like Mother's Day, wasn't like Father's Day. Do you know what I mean? Like, you didn't do things to celebrate International Women's Day when I was at primary school. It wasn't like it was never, there's nothing in the shops. No. There was no like cards or not that you should be, well, you could do cards if you want, but like, do you know what I'm trying to say? It wasn't a big event. Like, it wasn't
like send a card to your best friend, like Happy International Women's Day.
Why isn't that a thing? Like a care package, like everyone, like, just I'm kind of excited to see, this probably doesn't even answer your question, but I'm just excited to see where International Women's Day goes, and I hope that it becomes a big event like Mother's Day, like Father's Day, and becomes like a way to bring folk together, send cards, send care packages, and celebrate the women in our lives.
I only really became aware of it when I was doing my undergrad, and that was like 7 years ago, so within the last 7 years I've only really been aware of it, but it's been a thing.
I've only been aware of it a year. Like,
for so much longer than that.
GRL, I wouldn't really.
Yeah, I think International Women's Day is kind of highlighting how far we have like come. And yeah, as Grace and Roisin have said, like the inequalities, I think it does definitely highlight like the overseas what's happening kind of thing as well. Because I remember the first time that I really heard, I think it was International Girls' Day, and I was actually in India at the time doing like a volunteering project, and I was around so many amazing girls that were just, as soon as they turned 13, they were like, I don't know, being married off young and like not able to go to school after the age of 13, being taught how to be a housewife. And I think that's when I realised the importance of having these days to kind of spread the awareness and like, yeah, show that there is still inequalities like all over the world.
Yeah. I think a lot of people kind of think we're done.
Like, that's what I was just going to say.
Like, you know,
especially in this country and stuff as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of people sort of think, you know, women are on TV and women have
female managers.
There's female. We've had a female prime minister. And they kind of think we're done. Yeah. What you on about? Do you know what I mean? And then, like you say, when you look wider, there's still so much inequality.
I mean, not even that it is all over the world. There is probably still a lot of inequality. In this country as well that still needs to be addressed. But it is just highlighting that. And I mean, I know that they have like International Men's Day as well, which is also, I think all of these days they're just good to highlight the problems that everybody faces and kind of get people speaking about, which is exactly the point of our podcast, get people speaking about these problems so that it's not.
And I think highlighting one set of problems doesn't take another set away, and it doesn't invalidate another set. It's
you
just...
can change your opinion as well. Like, that's one key thing that we always make every listener aware of at the start of our shows, is that our opinions do change, and that's okay. You're allowed to agree with one thing one week, and then
because you can learn and grow and
it's not just
be presented with new information and
definitely. Fab. Do you want to let people know when they can listen to your show and any future plans? What have you got coming up and things like that?
Yeah. We've got lots of plans, haven't we?
It's on Tuesday. Tuesday is the main.
So we air every Friday, 11 in the morning till 12. So it's an hour every Friday. We have a different topic every week. And
on Spark FM.
On Spark.
FM? Spark Sunderland.
On Spark.
Sunderland.
It's 107 FM, or you can listen online, or we're on the Radio Player app as well. We have a different topic every week, and we play only music by female artists. We
have a playlist on Spotify.
We have a playlist on Spotify of the songs that we've played, and
you guys are allowed to add tracks onto it as well. It's a collab, but be sensible, because we're not wanting 30 tracks, alright?
And Tuesday, today when this is going out, we've got a whole International Women's Day takeover that we're currently on Spark, which we're currently organising. So we're having all female identifying presenters throughout the day, and we're doing all female artists. We're doing a GRL lunchtime special. We've got, like I said before, girls presenting the sports show. Got all sorts going on Tuesday. So
plug the social media so they can get in contact with us.
So you can follow us on GRL on Spark, and you can follow the station as well at Spark Sunderland on Instagram.
Yeah, and then you can see what's going on.
Get involved.
But obviously, so this Friday we're talking to you guys at Mind, because it's Mental Health Charity Week. No, Mental Health Week.
It's the Uni's Mental Health Week this week. We're playing out the interview that we had with you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, so it's just all topics that we'll be talking about.
And ideas that we've got coming up. Like I said, like we said before, we've got we want to do health. We want to talk about female health. We want to talk about pregnancy and sort of health during pregnancy and looking after yourself, but also maybe the expectation that's put on women to be mothers, and not every woman wants to be a mother, and maybe the pressure that we feel from society around that, and
that also feeds into the pressures of age as well. I know that my sister's just turned 30, and maybe we'll have an episode on that about growing up and turning 30 and the expectations of when you should be 30, and women who have chosen to go into work and business rather than settling down with a family in the traditional way, in quotes. So all of those kind of topics that we're covering, and if anybody has ideas as well, you can just
And please get in contact
with
us.
I
want to hear from you.
We've got an email address as well, which is grlonspark@gmail.com. So any sort of suggestions for topics and things can be sent there.
Fab. Thank you, girl.
No worries, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Sunderland Mind No Filter. Find us on Facebook at Mind Sunderland or at www.sunderlandmind.co.uk. As well, you can find us on Instagram, YouTube and Twitter at Sunderland Mind. And don't forget to like and share this episode of the podcast. See you next time.